Very good evening, children. So, when in the last class, I was trying to explain to y'all the 10% law. So, I found out that a few of y'all had doubts. So, I thought it would be the best if I just record a video explaining the 10% law once again, and then I can easily share it with all of y'all. So, without much ado, let me begin. So, today we are basically going to talk about the 10% law. So, this 10% law was given by Raymond Lindman. So, what did he say after lots of extensive findings? He said that transfer of energy from one tropic level to another happened in a very unique way. Unique way in the sense that only about 10% of the energy transferred from one level to the another and was stored as flesh or the biomass. So we are going to break this down, and hopefully by the end of this class it will be crystal clear to y'all about what this tropic levels are and how do they function. Great. So, like I was explaining, this is the first trophic level. So, one by one, what are we drawing here? We are drawing the trophic levels. Correct. So, the first trophic level, what is the first trophic level? They are basically the producers. Yeah. So, producers meaning the plants. So, very uniquely, I told you that they only derive how much percentage of the sun's energy? Well, it is only 1% of the sun's energy. They absorb it, and that they turn into their own biomass. Biomass in the sense fruits, vegetables. Now, next, we come to the second trophic level. Now, what happens here in the second trophic level? Now, understand this very clearly. So, in the second trophic level, we basically find the herbivores. Now, these herbivores are creatures we all know they eat plants. Now, these herbivores, because they are eating plants, the first time we are seeing that someone is eating someone, right? So, they are called the primary consumers. Consume term meaning to eat, as simple as that. So they become the primary consumers. Now, the third trophic level. So, who do you think will be in the third trophic level? Yeah, the third trophic level consists of all those creatures, those who eat the herbivores, in the sense, the carnivores, right? So the carnivores are eating the herbivores. Now the herbivores are the primary consumers, so the carnivores automatically become what? The secondary consumers. Yeah, quite basic. So the producers, being the plants, they are taking 1% of sun's energy, making all the fruits and vegetables. Who is eating them in the second trophic level? The herbivores are eating the plants. So they become the primary consumers. And now who are eating the herbivores? The carnivores are eating the herbivores. And then they become the secondary consumers. Now, next. So we come to the fourth trophic level. So in the fourth trophic level, we have another set of carnivores who we will now term the tertiary consumers. So the fourth trophic level, very, very crucial. So in the fourth trophic level, we now get the tertiary consumers, okay, those who will eat these carnivores. Means the tertiary consumers will now eat the secondary consumers. Clear? Now finally, as we see that as we are going at the top of the pyramid, it is becoming smaller and smaller. So the fifth, who will be there in the fifth? Quite obviously, if tertiary consumers are already there, we will have the quaternary consumers. Yeah, the quaternary consumers, those who are eating the tertiary consumers. And finally, the sixth level now. Observe this very carefully. Usually, very few food chain levels will go up to the sixth level. Most will end here in the fifth level, because as they are going up, more and more energy is getting utilized, but lesser and lesser are being stored as flesh, as we are discussing in the 10% law. So, sixth, or whichever is the final one, here they are termed the apex predators. And most of the times, the quaternary consumers become the apex predators, because, like I'm saying, it ends here. Now, why do they end here or here maximum? Why they can't go any more above? Now, that is the main topic of discussion of today's class. So, when I'm telling that the producers or the plants, they are preparing food, why am I saying so? Just a sec. So, in the energy level, like you can see here, the primary producers, if we are considering them to be, suppose, 100% of the food is present in terms of fruits. Yeah, the fruits, nutritious, full 100%. Primary consumers will eat it. Yeah, the primary consumers will eat the food, and how much will they store in their body? How much will they store in their body, the primary producers? Only 10% of this. So 10% of 100 meaning what? It means 10% itself. The third trophic level will again stored only 10% of whatever energy was here. So it becomes 1. This, it becomes over here 1%. And as we go higher and higher, this becomes 0.1% and this becomes 0.01%. Okay, so as we go upper and upper, lesser and lesser energy gets stored in the flesh, and so it ends here. Okay, and so it ends here because there is no more energy to feed on. Yeah, so if suppose we here, like, the energy stored in form of flesh, like I told you, it is called biomass. Yeah, and the unit is kilocalorie per meter square. Kilocalorie per meter square. So suppose if I tell here 20,000 kilocalorie per meter square, that is the energy stored in form of a in the fruit. So how much will primary consumers be able to store in their flesh? So 10% of 20,000, which becomes 2,000. Yeah. So the third level, Again, how much will the secondary consumers store in their body as flesh? It's 10% of 2000, which means 200. And so this becomes 20, and it becomes lesser and lesser. So if the question comes that the producer level has 20,000 kilocalories per meter square energy, so how much energy will be stored as biomass in the third level, in the third trophic level? So what will your answer be? Your answer will be 200. Yeah. Let's get into another example. Yes. So here, 90,000 kilocals. The next level herbivores are getting only 9,000. Next, they are getting 900, then 90, and the apex predators will get only 9. Yeah. So the energy levels are decreasing as we are going up the pyramid. And so it ends probably in the fifth, maximum in the sixth. And all these people, those who are having or eating, they are called consumers. And those who are making the food for us, they are called autotrophs. Now, in the worksheet that I shared with y'all, most of y'all got the answer correct, but few of y'all got the answer incorrect about what sort of nutrition do fungi have. Okay, so fungi. And I remember during class, one of you all also asked me that what about the decomposers? Now, both fungi and decomposers, they do not fall under any trophic level. They act in all the levels, because they are basically transformers. They are transforming all the dead matter and materials and then providing nutrients to whom? To our autotrophs. They are breaking them down. So basically what they are doing is, so suppose here autotrophs from the sun, the main work that they are doing is they are converting the abiotic elements into food, means biotic elements. And the abiotic elements, meaning the water molecules, the carbon dioxide molecules, all abiotic in nature, non-living. So they are, the autotrophs are converting abiotic to biotic as food. And very interestingly, the opposite is happening with the fungi, the decomposers. They are converting the biotic, the dead biotic now creatures, the living creatures, the dead creatures, they are converting them into abiotic elements, which is again mixing with the soil and forming nutrients for the plants. So they are depending on dead and decaying organisms, fungi. They are depending on dead and decaying organisms, even decomposers. So what sort of nutrition do they have? They have the saprophytic nutrition, as we can see here. So we will roughly go through the nutritions. So autotrophs are the producers. Heterotrophs, again divided into three. Saprophytes, fungi, they will fall under saprophytes. Parasitic, they completely depend on someone. They don't make food on their own, but they completely depend on other. Like we have learnt ectoparasites, endoparasites, inside the body, outside the body. They suck blood out of the body, suck food out of the body. Okay. And finally, holozoic means us. So different two types of nutritions: autotrophic, heterotrophic, saprophytic, depending on dead and decaying organisms; parasitic, completely dependent. Most of the times they will cause diseases. It's not a very healthy relationship. And finally, holozoic means us. We also can't depend on ourselves to produce food. We have to depend on green plants to give us food. Yeah. So just one more time go through the energy levels and try and understand this. Look through all the trophic levels. All the trophic levels, first, second, third. Yeah. So hopefully you have understood the 10% law. Now, if suppose there's a question, yeah, suppose there's a question, a very easy question also. So let me just roughly draw it for you all. So here they say that this is the producer, and they don't give this. And then here they say that it's the secondary consumer, and here they say Y. So then they ask the question as to what is X and what is Y. So automatically X, producers are having it first time. Who is eating? The producers, the primary consumers. So that becomes the answer. And finally Z, who is eating? The secondary consumers, the tertiary consumers. So then that becomes your answer. Yeah. Now if suppose they ask another question, like why does a food chain consist of only 3 to 4 steps? Like I explained, that the loss of energy at each step of food chain is so great that very little amount of energy remains after the fourth, fifth trophic levels. So they only consists of 3. Generally they consist of 3 to 4, maximum 5 or 6. Yeah. And suppose they ask you a question that how much percentage of the sun's energy is used by the autotrophs? It's obviously 1%. How much energy flows from one trophic level to another? Yeah. How much energy flows from one trophic level to another? It's only the 10% of energy will flow from one trophic level to another. So hopefully students, you all have understood, you all have gained perspective, you all have understood the concept of the 10% law. Just one small little example I will just share with you all, and this is the final one. So yeah, so suppose this is the sun and this is the first, okay, for example, suppose it's a phytoplankton. Okay. And who will eat the phytoplanktons? These are all happening in aquatic world, the gorgeous aquatic world. Now who will eat the zooplankton, like even smaller fishes? And then finally who will eat a smaller fish, a big fish? Yeah. Y'all can just write down the names, whatever. So suppose here we say 400 kilocalories, suppose, example. And then this is empty, and then again this is 4 kilocalories. So if the question asks that what is depicted, what do you see, what does this thing mean? So the moment you see that this is given, how much biomass is transferring, so immediately the answer is it is primarily a food chain, right? Who is eating home? Arrows, it's food chain, but along with that we also have the 10% law here. So do not miss out on this, like what is depicting the moment you see these, so means 10% law. Now 400, now the next zooplanktons, if they ask that suppose this is X and this is Y, how much energy as biomass will be present in their bodies? So from 400, 10% of 400, which means 40. kilocalories. Yeah. And then finally, this is 4. So 10% of 4 means 0.4 kilocalories. And with that, we end the 10% law. I hope all of you have understood. So have a good day. And any topic you feel that I should revise again, just tell it to me and I will just record it like this and share it with all in the future. Okay, goodbye. Have a good day.